Camping ends in death, that's the right name for this film. The camping atmosphere that should have been happy and joyful and with friends turned into something terrible. The camping location even became a haunted legend and actually became one of the holiday destinations for people. At the beginning of the film, two men were driving their car in the middle of nowhere that they themselves did not know where it was. At that time, they saw a woman trapped there with her broken car. One of them, named Hunter, tried to get out and approach the woman, while the other man waited in the car, hoping nothing strange would happen. Hunter tried to offer help to the woman. His car was having problems, and Hunter happened to know a little about cars. The woman asked Hunter where Hunter and his friend were going at this time of night. Hunter and his friend were contracted to be one of the performers of a horror camping, which was probably located not far from there. The camping was even known to be haunted because of the many murders that occurred every year. Until now, the perpetrator has not been found, but many people think that the perpetrator is the ghost of two brothers, who are said to have disappeared several years ago at the camping. Suddenly, the woman felt scared and shocked. On the other hand, his friend Hunter felt something appeared. He seemed to see something out there. His friend Hunter got out of the car, but he didn't realize there was a masked human figure behind him ready to finish him off. As soon as he turned around, an axe stuck in his head until he died. Because of that incident, their car made a sound until Hunter saw what happened. He was shocked, but from behind he also became the target of the masked man. In the morning, there was a group of young men and women came to the camping location that Hunter was talking about. They called it Camp Pleasant Lake. The owner of the camp has changed a lot. This time the owner of the camp is Rick and his wife named Darlene. Almost every year the camp is a tourist attraction for many people, but many also disappear. Even so, therein lies its appeal. At that time, Darlene asked where Hunter was because since last night they had not received any news from him. They had paid a lot of money for the company that hired them. Rick asked Darlene to be calm and patient. Maybe Hunter was already in his position, whose job was to scare the visitors. That night, the first night the visitors and camp staff gathered together, the staff told an incident that happened at this campsite. One of them was a horror story about two missing brothers. So what's the real story? So long ago in 2002, there lived a girl named Echo with her brother named Jasper. Echo made a mask to wear on Halloween night. Just like Jasper, he had prepared what they needed. Meanwhile, their parents, Ruby and John, were having a household argument. Who knows what they were arguing about, but it seemed like a trivial matter, and it was likely that their household was not going well. Echo saw them and didn't like it. John tried to calm Echo down that they were fine. Even at that time, they had promised to take Echo and Jasper to a camp where a Halloween party would be held. Echo and Jasper would stay there, a kind of scout program. Before arriving there, they stopped to look for food at a small food stall. At that time, Echo wanted to urinate. John asked Rudy to accompany her. But when he finished, Echo didn't follow her mother from behind. Instead, she went to a slightly open door with some candy on the doorknob. Echo then entered the room and met a big man named Joe. Joe gave Echo a snack, as if Joe wanted to take it with her. But soon John came and asked Echo to leave. Echo had been warned by John not to talk to strangers. Besides John, there was another man named Ezra. Ezra was Joe's father. His gaze was suspicious. Then he told John to take care of his little daughter while he could. What did he mean? When they were about to leave the food stall, they were again stopped by a group of people, including Joe and Ezra. An old woman named Esmeralda stopped them while saying the same thing that Ezra said to John. It turned out that Esmeralda was Ezra's wife. Who knows what they would do? It would definitely be something evil and bad. After a few hours of walking, they finally arrived at the destination camp. Jasper and Echo got off and left their parents. Echo and Jasper were greeted by the supervisor and several other children who would join the scouts. Initially, Jasper was welcomed by them, but not by Echo. They mocked the mask that Echo made. The shape and design were ugly. Even one of them destroyed it. Echo left them crying, alone somewhere. Not long after, Echo was approached by a man who was none other than Ezra. Why was he there? Is he the owner of this camp? Ezra said that she had a better camp, especially since there were lots of snacks given to Echo by Joe. Hearing that, Echo was interested in joining him. But from a distance, Jasper saw Echo and screamed for his sister. Since then, Echo and Jasper have never been found. Even the police couldn't. Many people say that Echo and Jasper turned into cruel killers, haunting everyone who came to the camp. But for them, it was just a myth and not a real event. That's why Rick created a tense experience when people were in the camp. Hunter was supposed to be the executioner to make them afraid, but unfortunately he became a victim of the masked man. Even so, Rick still promised them that their experience would be very challenging, and as if they were really terrorized by the two brothers. The night was getting colder, and their journey to the adventure was getting closer. The first to feel the horror was this participant. They thought it was part of the game, but it turned out they were wrong. The masked man was in the car and hit them all to death. After that, the masked man targeted one of the staff there. When there was an opportunity, the masked man entered the staff tent and tried to hurt him using a hot iron. After successfully leading the masked man out of the tent, he immediately stabbed the staff and slit his throat to death. His body was hidden. In the morning, many other staff tried to find his friend, but they only found blood. They still thought it was part of the game that Rick had prepared. On the other hand, it turned out that Hunter was still alive. He was tied up with Joe. Then who was the masked man? Joe asked him many times, but the masked man did not answer and only showed a photo of a victim of his cruelty. Even though they still believed that what happened was part of the game, Rick panicked and asked Darlene to take responsibility for this, because she was the one who arranged everything, including recruiting Hunter as an actor. Not long after, the masked man appeared while approaching them. Again, they still did not realize that what the masked man did was real. He slaughtered everyone there one by one, and left some for his own enjoyment later. Those who were there cheered and clapped as if enjoying the show they had been waiting for. The cruelty of the masked man did not stop. This time the victim was Darlene. She was told to find where Hunter was. But instead the masked man came and stabbed Darlene in the stomach until she died. That night one of the staff was attacked and led to a hut. There he saw Joe tied up, but Hunter was no longer there. In the end, the staff was also made unconscious by the masked man. One by one they began to fall. Many still thought that this was just a game and not real, but they were wrong. Trapped in a bus and locked from the outside made them all burn to death. Joe was still tied up. This time he was with the staff who were made unconscious by the masked man. So why did he target Joe? So back when Ruby and John had finished delivering Echo and Jasper, they were intercepted by Esmeralda's men. They were killed while saying that Echo would belong to Esmeralda and Ezra. Yes, the masked man was Echo, who was now a grown woman. When she was raised by Ezra, she realized that they had killed her parents. As a result, Echo took revenge and killed them all. Besides Echo, it turns out that Jasper is also the masked man. Together they seek revenge for their parents, even though many innocent people become victims. Jasper and Echo will continue their crazy actions. New people arrive and become their victims. Even this woman is not free from the pursuit of the two brothers. The question is, how long will this continue?